Good morning, Chair Askewell, members of the board. My name is Cody Phillips. I'm a staff attorney with California Coastkeeper Alliance, speaking in strong support of the readoption of these emergency regulations. Just laying the foundation here, this board has recognized in numerous contexts that your intervention is absolutely necessary to protect these commercially and culturally vital salmonids. And the readoption of these emergency regulations helps to fulfill your public trust obligations for at least one more year, at least while we consider something more long-term. For this process, I have two main comments for you today. First has to do with the informative digest. Right off the bat, staff, thank you. It was really well done. I think it covers the reasoning behind the board's actions very well, the science very well. My only caveat is the fiscal impact statement, which you've already kind of discussed a bit today, which focused exclusively on the costs of the emergency regulation, where the government code clearly allows you to look at savings as well. It's all too common in environmental circumstances to look at what it's going to cost industry, in this case, agriculture, to comply. But that is, a sad truth about environmental work is that it's almost always cheaper to overuse the environment, to harm it, rather than to protect it. And so to look at things like tax revenue losses for agriculture without even mentioning the tax revenue losses from the second year in a row of the closure of the salmon fishing industry, we think skews the economic impact and the consideration, the decision you have to make today. We understand this is an emergency regulation and a more thorough analysis is coming, but because a more thorough analysis is coming, we think it's important to flag that in this context to make sure that it is done well over the next year. Second, I've a concern with the addition of the trading information for water component of the regulations. I appreciate that the board is developing a long-term approach here of trying to take information and use it for the long-term approach that is coming. And while I understand that better and more data is going to be immensely helpful, the board has other tools at its disposal. And the way that it's written now, it really strongly incentivizes right holders to withhold their water and use that in exchange. I think it was put in there with the idea of collaboration in mind, but I think it may have the alternate effects just the way it is currently written here. We do appreciate that CDFW is going to be the ultimate decider there, but this context is emergency regulations for bare minimum survival flows, and to allow us to go below those bare minimum flows for information in the long term may be helpful, but for the immediate needs that these regulations are meant to fill, we think it misses the point. So with those two comments in mind, CCKA does strongly support the readoption of these emergency regulations, and as well as the board's continued effort toward long-term flow recovery goals. Thank you.